Hi, I'm Jess Washington with the Dallas Weekly, and here you have another episode of Mama to Mama, where we interview entrepreneurial women from across the DFW that hold oh so many titles, but most importantly, the title of Mama. Here today, I'm sitting with an extraordinary woman. You have seen her in D Magazine, you've seen her in Fashion Week, you have seen her at FGI Dallas. She's been in so many publications, but I am so glad that she's here today to speak with us. We have Essay Azenabor Grimbowski.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice
and
to
thank
meet
you for
you
having
as
me.
well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, start with the first one. Apologies.
Okay.
See, like I said, we're going to edit all of this.
Okay.
Intro out. All right. So, Essay, I wanted to start from the beginning. You are a Nigerian, Canadian-born woman, and you landed in Dallas to continue your studies in accounting while attending SMU. So, what I want to know is, what was that light bulb moment that made you say that this is my calling, fashion? And it's changing today.
Well, that's a good question. Where do I pinpoint that decision? I've been struggling with that decision for a long time. I started designing when I was 8 years old, but I never really thought that it would be a business. For me, it was more of like a hobby. I make a dress for myself, make it for my friends or my family members, and it was just a joy to see, my dress or one of my pieces out there, on someone. But when I moved to Dallas, this was the first time that I was by myself, without family influences. Again, like you said, I'm Nigerian, and in our culture, education is more important than anything. And with that said, I was not looking to pursue, fashion as my main career. I was supposed to be an accountant. Come to school, do my master's, move back to Canada, and get a big position as some kind of chartered accountant. That was at least what my path was supposed to be, or what my parents wanted my path to be.
Right.
But moving here for the first time by myself, I was able to just be on my own and figure out, this is not me. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to sit behind a desk and, audit audit someone else's business for the rest of my life. That's not me. I'm a talkative. I like to meet people. I love to create. I've been a creative since I can remember. And I was actually a friend of mine. I was dressing up in one of my dresses, and she says, "Why don't you ever make this actual career?" And I said, "Yeah, it's easier said than done. Who's gonna buy it? I'll just make a dress, and then boom, someone's I'll just be this fashion designer, and how do I price it, and how do I, it was just so much information for me to understand, and I didn't go to school for it. It was something that I learned on my own, and I've been doing this forever. So it was, I think, in my second semester in school, in my master's, where I said, you know what, I really love this. And prior to this, I've been making dresses and just putting them on eBay, and I would sell it for whatever. It would cost me $200 to make the dress, and I would sell it for $50. It didn't matter the pricing to me. It was just someone else outside the world is buying my dress. I don't care how much they're buying it for. It's on somebody else aside from my family members and myself, and I just love that
feeling.
So, and that's something about fashion or anything you want to do. If you have to really love it, almost and do it for free, And I was pretty much doing it for free and selling it for free, pretty much just to get it out and say, well, this random person is wearing my dress. So it was one day in my second semester, I was just trying to decide, should I go back to school or should I just make this collection? And I'd save some money. And I had a friend that helped me too. She said, I'll give you this check of $5,000. Let's see if you can create a line. So this is in 2012. I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to go to classes. I missed a lot of classes, but I'm going to go to class, but I'm going to design. And I was living downtown in my apartment, a one-bedroom apartment. I remember just taking all the couches to the wall and using the living room, the floor as my, pattern floor. I didn't have a table, so I would just go on the floor. It's cutting fabrics, going to the fabric store, buying fabrics, beading. At that time, I didn't even know about appliques. I just knew about beading from scratch, and I would just sit there and bead from scratch. And my friends thought I was crazy. They would come in and visit me and say, "You really doing this from scratch?" It took a whole year. I missed a lot of classes. I probably failed a couple of courses. But I finally launched the collection it was February of 2012. And I just Googled. I didn't know anything about like how to do a fashion show. So I just Googled like Dallas fashion show producers, and someone Rhonda Chambers, who's a great friend of mine now.
Yes.
Her name just popped up, and I just like, that's a number. I'll call her. And I called her and said, hi, I'm new to Dallas, and I want to be a fashion designer, and I want you to produce my show. And she's like, oh, okay. All right, I'll come to your showroom and visit you. I'm like, well, my showroom is my apartment. And she's like, okay, that's fine. And she took a look at my pieces, and she's like, oh wow, this is incredible stuff. Like, you made this from scratch? And I said, yeah. And she's like, who is your producer? I'm like, me. I don't have anybody but just me right now. And she said, okay, let's make this. Let's do this big. I'm gonna invite everyone in the fashion industry to come and see this, to see your pieces. Give me some pieces to wear so I can go to events and talk about you. And she did all of that. I gave her a couple of my pieces so she can wear to galas prior to the shows, just to put my name in, people's mouths. And we did a fashion show at Hotel Zaza. It was packed. I didn't know anybody. Like, I didn't even know what I was doing. I just wanted people to see my dresses, and it was a great success. And then it was a fashion show, and it stopped. It was ended, and it's like, where do we go from here? Right. It was a great success. We didn't really sell. We sold a couple of pieces off the runway, but where do we go from here now? Do we make this a thing, and how do we make this a thing? Wow. Yeah. So we can sit here today for 5 days. We can talk about this, but I went through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of confliction. Like, am I crazy? Like, for the past, from 2012 to end of 2014, it was a big struggle because I wasn't making money from it, but I was just doing it. Right. And it got to a point where I thought I was crazy. Because I apologize. It's okay. So it got to a point where I thought I was crazy because I wasn't getting anything from it, and friends were asking me, well, are you gonna move back to Canada, and you've quit school by this time? Sorry, I didn't even say that I quit school to do this. I decided I didn't want to do my master's anymore. I had an undergrad degree, and I said, well, worst case scenario, I'll move back to Canada and I'll fall back to that degree. But what do I do from here? And along the way, I was meeting friends, or not friends, so-called friends, so people that I thought were my friends, trying to influence me and tell me that Dallas is not a place for my type of design. Right. Dallas is very clean line and simple and boring, and like, really, that's not what I know Dallas to be. Where are you finding this? I mean, there are the boring people in Dallas, but there are boring people everywhere. Exactly. But I'm here to bring out the ones that or even change the ones that are boring to my style. And it took me that long, from 2012 to the end of 2014, probably entering into 2015, to really understand who my client was, who I am as a designer. Everyone is not for you. Right. You don't have to sell to everybody. Be very okay with saying no. Right? Because that was another thing that I was very through. Right. Be very okay with saying no, and it's okay to turn money away, because if you don't kind of accept everyone's money. Right. Because not everyone's money is for you. Yeah. And I just had to really learn that, and because I went through the struggles of designing for the Dallas woman that they say Dallas woman was, and I didn't even like the stuff that I was putting out there. Gotcha. And then I said, no, back to the drawing board. I'm going back to who S.A. Azinabor is, and not who you think I'm supposed to be. Right. And and here we are today.
Yeah, and it seems like, the light bulb moment is just a manifestation of you believing in yourself.
Yes, believing in yourself. You literally have to be able to do your job for free to really appreciate it and want to keep on doing it, because it's going to get to a point where people will think you're insane, because you're going to dump your money into this. I started doing other things, like doing hair. I was like, okay, I know how to do hair. Let me braid some people's hair so I can make some money, and I can invest it into this fashion line. I have old clients that will call me and say, remember you used to do my hair in 2011 and 2010? I don't believe this is who you are now. I'm like, I remember you used to make your dresses in this little room, and I'm like, and they all, because they'll think, you're crazy. Like, know,
but you got to be
you
grounded.
have to believe in yourself, and you have to know where you're going. And I remember myself in my apartment in 2011, even before I even launched the line, and my dream was to one day have a showroom and have an atelier and have my dresses shown to the world. And it looked so far away and impossible. And then I went back to my Nigerian roots, where your parents used to tell you, like, if this person can do it, you can do it. They're a human being just like you are. They don't have 5 heads. They have just one head. That's the thing. Like, we always say that, like, Chanel only had 1 head and 2 arms. She didn't have 10 arms and she didn't have 2 heads. So if she can do it, you're a human being too. As long as you dedicate yourself and really, really love it, and this is what you really want to do, you can do it too. And I feel like it's really showing in a lot of, especially in Black people, like just minorities in general, women. We're finally seeing that we have the power to do anything we want, as long as we really, really love it and we really are really dedicated to it.
Yeah. And let's talk about mindsets for a minute, because you went to talk about, like, when you go back to your family and everything. So I wanted to say, with all the success that you've had in kind of a short amount of time, have you changed any of the minds of your family and friends back home?
Absolutely. I mean, fashion now is so different from when we were growing up. You know, I remember when I was in high school and I would make a dress for myself, and I was so ashamed to tell people that I made it because of where I'm from, like where I was from, or where I'm from back then. It was almost like, you made your dress? Oh, really? You can't buy a dress? Like,
gotcha.
You know, like what made you make it? Like, you know, but because, and I don't know, just my environment, I guess, like growing up, it was just something that we didn't do. We just go, we want something, go buy it. That if you can afford it, then you make it.
Gotcha.
Right? And I turned a lot of, you know, pieces that were for my mom or my brother, and turned it into my own outfits. And that's all comes down to, like, where I'm from, right? Because it wasn't something that was, like, smiled upon, right?
Right.
Today is so different. Today, everyone is so creative. Everyone is flaunting their creative abilities. It's cool to be, it's so cool now to be creative, yeah. Right? So it's definitely changing the minds of, you know, my family members. Like, my mom is, like, one of my biggest cheerleaders. She's always been my cheerleader. It's just, again, culture always gets in the way too. Like, well, you should probably have your education first before you do that. I'm going to support it, but get your degree first. And I'm still kind of like that, because I have a daughter, and if my daughter today came and told me I want to be a fashion designer, I will stop everything and make that happen. But I still feel like because of where I'm from, I'm born in Nigeria. She still has to get that degree, and I don't know why. It's just in our head, and we can't get rid of it. And it's okay, but as long as you support, you know, that dream that they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Unlike before, they used to just, like, say no.
And it doesn't matter how successful you are, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I kind of want to talk to you, take a couple years back to your 2016 groundbreaking show at State Hall.
Okay.
And I want to say this correctly. It was the Object d'Art show. And you had 40 DFW female influencers there. And it was, the whole message was about female empowerment.
Yeah, empowerment.
And I feel that from you when I speak with you.
Oh, thank you.
So I wanted to ask, what are you doing now, or what goals do you have to extend that voice of female empowerment within this industry? Yeah,
well, my goal in general has always been to empower women. I come from a long line of very strong women. I feel like, so I definitely want women to feel like they can be anything. You don't have, no matter what your color is, what you look like, what you sound like, your accent, you're not from here, whatever. Like, you can do anything you want, as long as you really do believe in yourself. And I really feel like fashion also explains that too. Because I see women change every time they put on a garment. You know, they can walk in here all sloppish, and then they put on a dress, and like, whoa, I am
Shoulders
a queen.
Yeah.
You know, like, look, who is this girl? You know, and really, it's because art does define, like, can change you, can change how you feel about yourself, and you feel down and you look in the mirror and you wear something that is empowering, or that you've never seen your body look this way before. It can just change how you feel about yourself, and you feel like you can literally go out there and stop traffic. Like, it is powerful. I see it every day, every single day.
Yeah.
So and that's why I do always say this. I say, fashion is life, fashion is art, and style, of course. Style is also life. Style is art. And through that, we as women, we can empower ourselves and feel empowered. And anytime I do a fashion show, I always want that to show in a way. And that's why I use women, because women of all different walks of life, women of all shapes and sizes, to also influence others that are feeling like, well, I look this way, or I feel this way, or I'm not the typical, Hollywood look or whatever.
Right.
And I don't have this X amount of dollars in my account, so I cannot be powerful. And then they see someone like them, that looks like them, that talks like them, being powerful and representing them. Like, it just changes how they feel about themselves. And they're like, you know what? F that. I can do this. So, or I can do whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely. That's so cool. So I do want to touch on your family life a little bit. So I do know that in 2014, you met your husband, Greg.
No,
and
Eric.
Edit that out.
I'm like, who is Greg?
I don't know what. I did not have my coffee this morning. We're going to start over on that one.
He would laugh in here. I'll tell him.
I apologize. Tell him that I was emailing a Greg. I got it.
It's a typical white name, Greg, Eric. It's like,
Trent,
Chad,
Mike.
I get it. It's an honest mistake.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God, you're free to call my husband whatever you want. And I'll let him know what happened. All right, let's roll it back. Okay. So I want to touch on family life for a little bit. Okay. And I do know that in 2014, you met your husband, Eric.
Yes.
And then you two had a show-stopping wedding in 2017.
Yes.
And then in 2019, you had your beautiful daughter, Ella.
Yes.
She's so beautiful,
Thank
too.
you.
How has having a child, specifically a girl, affected your outlook on fashion?
Woo. Ella is so inspiring. Like, my latest collection was all inspired by her. Like, she changed or inspired me Ella inspires me every day with a little. Well, let's start with this. Of course, I'm a new mom. I still feel like I'm a new mom, even though she's almost 3. She's 2.5. But her growing up, or just seeing her change from 1 month old or a newborn to a 1 month old to a 1 year old, even though I kind of raised my little sister, it's still different. I see God literally working magic. Like, I'm just like, what in the world is this? Like, how can you be, if you're a mom, you should know God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should know who God is. Because it's a miracle. You literally see miracles happening every day. I see her going from a Google. I know it sounds. It might sound cheesy or just like no, but I literally see this and I'm just like, what in the world is I? And I look at my mom and like, Mom, was I ever like this? Or so I started like this too. You see pictures of yourself as a baby, but you don't really understand the concept of your changing. Right. As you're growing up, and I'm seeing that in her. I'm seeing the miracles. I'm seeing God's creation and. It's inspiring me in what I do every day, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
She's just a beautiful human being, and I see her future so bright, and it's from the time she was a newborn, I feel like I knew what she was going to be like as a person or as a human being, because now you're seeing her as a human being now. Before, a baby is like, they're not really a human being, but now it's like becoming more human, and I'm like, oh my God, you didn't change really. Like, you're like yourself. Eric, stop calling me. Oh, it's not Eric, it's my employee. Okay, I need to answer this. Sorry. What? Yes, Farad.
Okay. The fabric. This one, she don't have same sharp key like different. See this one, it's not gold. But this one, it's different. Let me show you. This one is gold, but also.
No. Okay, never mind about that. I'll find it somewhere else.
Okay. And also I have fabric tube don't have also.
Okay. That gold one you just showed me. Oh, they don't have that gold? For that.
Which one?
They don't, the gold you just showed me?
No, yeah.
Yeah, that gold you just showed me.
Okay.
Where is it?
Yes, which one? This one or?
No.
I wanted to also ask, I know that she's just 2.5, but do you see any glimpse of her wanting to get in the fashion industry with Mama?
Yes, I do. To be honest, me and Eric joke about it. We'll say, well, this is Ella's business, so let's make it let's make it like successful so that she can, follow and make it as incredible as we know she will. But I do see her want to be a fashion designer because when I'm like in the back working and she's here. Oh my gosh, she knows, she's like beads. And then she was like below 2 when she was doing that. Like she's obsessed with shimmers and shiny and wants to touch and wants to pin and wants to be involved. And I don't know if it's just because she's seen me doing it and she wants to just be a part of it. But I really do hope that it's more than that because that would be amazing. But my love for business also came from my mom too. My mom was really into, like, she touched on a million different businesses. She was a hustler. Right? So like I feel like my business mind came from that too. Even though I have a degree in my degree at business administration.
Mm-hmm.
I just did that because of my mom too, because she was just into business. And I'm like, I know I'm gonna be a business owner one day. I don't know what kind of business I'll own, but I do want to own my own business. And I saw my mom take care of her employees and go from one business to another in Nigeria, in a third world country. She was running things. Nice. So and I always wanted to do that too in my own way, of course. And I hope that Ella growing up seeing me and her dad work so hard and run our own businesses that she will want to be involved in it somehow when she gets older.
That's so cool. And we are firm believers in generational wealth.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I actually wanted to ask you about your mom as well because I've read many times that you say your mom, even though you don't necessarily have a lot of fashion mentors, but you say my mom is my business mentor.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, as far as other moms out there who are entrepreneurs or trying to come up, what advice would you have for the balance of work and life? Because your mom did it, you're doing it now.
Doing it. Yeah. Well, I'll say, of course, you want to be a business owner, believe in yourself and believe in that business that you're going to put out there, and really, truly love that business as well. Because don't just go into it for the money. So that's the biggest mistake I do feel. Like, I have a lot of friends, or I've known a lot of people that have started businesses just because, we can make a good quick buck out of this, and then when it starts getting crazy, because it will get crazy, it will drive you mad. Are you gonna stick with it, or are you gonna just quit and just stick? Because if you love it, you will never quit. Right. It's gonna you're gonna hit rock bottom. And you're going to say, well, what did I do wrong? And let me try it again and do it again. Or let me even repeat it again. That's why it's called madness, because you keep doing it over again. I'm going to repeat exactly what I did that I failed in and see if it will change this time. Right. Because you love it so much. I don't want to change it. I want to be exactly how I just did it. But let's try again. And then let's try it again. And let's try it again. But once you do that and you do it and you see yourself like, I can do this and almost go broke, which I don't want to advise anyone to go broke doing something, but if you really feel that way about something, the money will come. You'll be in shock how people would fly. We have people that fly in. I still pinch myself. I don't understand it. How someone would apply for a visa to come to our Dallas showroom for a dress. But when I started this in my apartment, all I wanted is just to sell a dress, Right. Now we are, bombarded with people from all over the world flying in, and just because I love this so much, and I sleep and I dream about it, and I'm designing my dream, and I'm waking up like, oh, we should do this, like that, and so definitely believe in yourself. If you're a mom, have help. Help is very important. I have my mom, thank God, she moved from Canada to help me. But we're still gonna even hire help, just because my mom did not come to this world to be to raise 4 kids and then raise her kids' But she's been a grandma right now, and she's being very excited about it. But I definitely do want her to also have help and also be a grandma, you know. But help is very important. That's really how you find a balance, because you cannot do it by yourself. It's not possible. I know we are superheroes, but we're not that super.
Absolutely.
we need our time. We need to love. We need to love on ourselves and take care of ourselves to give out love too. So,
that's a very good point.
yes, yes. So we do need breaks, and I'm a firm believer of like, yeah, we can do it all, but we definitely need help. Right. We need a team behind us. If it's only one person, but there needs to be someone behind
Someone you
us.
can rely on.
Yes,
absolutely.
yes. If it's your husband, or your, you know, if your husband is also a hustler too, then you need to get somebody to help you.
I definitely have a team, if you will, that I call on if I need a date night or something like that. So just even if it's just a couple hours, I think it's
you
deserving.
need that. It's deserving. It's deserving. But we can do it. We're not like our parents or even our parents' like back in the day when we can have their job was just to bear children and take care of us and just cut on their dreams and say, well, my dream just ended. I just had children, and let's not care about me anymore. You know, because that's how our parents, even back home, they're still doing that. You know, but now we're like, no, we can have our children and we can still live our dreams. So, but just need help.
Yeah. And then I wanted to also ask you, like, I know you're constantly traveling, doing fashion shows, having interviews and things like that. So I wanted to ask you, are there any other moms out there that are maybe colleagues or even friends that you look up to for inspiration as to how they balance it all?
How to balance it all? Moms that balance it all. I mean, my friends are becoming moms, so absolutely I look up to how we're all influencing each other in some way. But I think particularly it's my mom. You know, she raised 4 children by herself. You know, she went through a divorce from my dad, and she did it all by herself while also trying to work and put us through school and do other things. So I think when it comes to motherhood, she is my biggest inspiration.
Got it. She's the anchor.
Yeah, she's the anchor. She did it all. Like, she did it all and still had. And I saw her carry my little sister. I saw her being pregnant with my little sister. Now my little sister is 28. But I saw her when she was pregnant and what she was doing with a big belly, running businesses and pointing here and then running outside and jumping up and down. And I'm like, oh my God. So when I see that as an adult now, I'm like, oh, my mom did it in the third world country back in the day when there was no lights and there was no this. I can do it when we have everything.
Exactly.
Like, we have every access. We have a showroom. There's no excuses here. Okay. Right. So no. Absolutely, my mom. It would be my biggest mother as when it comes to a mother running a business and being a mom. And also, I cannot even imagine doing this without my husband. And she did it without, Right. So, yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And my final question actually would be, what is your favorite thing about being a mother?
Oh, my gosh. Just my daughter's face. Just like seeing your eyes through somebody else. That is so amazing. It's the weirdest feeling ever. Anyone can explain that to you in a million ways until you've gone through it. You're like, now I get it. Like, you can, like, people were explaining when I was pregnant, they're telling me, oh, I say you're gonna feel this way, you're gonna feel that way. I'm like, really? Okay, I can wait. But it's not even what they told me is not, to me, it's not even the same. It's way more.
Yes.
Right. It's I truly get it now. And my favorite thing is just her calling, like, now she's calling me mommy, mama, mommy. Like, it's just my favorite thing. I'm just like, oh my gosh. To this day, I'm like, I'm a mom though. Like, really? I'm a mom? Okay. It's the best feeling ever. For God to be able to give me that opportunity to be able to be a mother and also be a business woman and be a wife and have my family, with me. It's just the greatest blessing. Greatest blessing.
Essay, I want to thank you for talking with me today. You're definitely an inspiration to me.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you guys for joining us today for another episode of Mama to Mama.